Welcome to the Last Co-op Podcast, your source for all things nerd and pop culture related. This is episode number 21.
21.
And I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Travis, our local Nintendo Switch hater. And
every day.
Yeah. So I have a small confession to make. We have discussed on the show a few times our favorite systems from our childhood, and I have always said that the Nintendo 64 is one of my favorite consoles, and I had the most nostalgia for. Now, that is taking into consideration that I, as a poor young boy, never had a Super Nintendo. My Nintendo that I had came from my grandparents. And then after I got a little bit older and parents were doing a little better, then I ended up getting an N64 and a PlayStation and so on and so forth. But back in the day, mom said we just couldn't afford that shit. So you didn't have one. So
Tough luck, bub.
yeah. So I never had a Super Nintendo whenever they came out. Now, because of this, it has inspired me to do something that is probably a very poor financial decision, but it will make for good content and it will be fun to do along the way. So I am going to acquire said Super Nintendo, and I am going to buy games as I come across them. No rush, no real plan. Just if I see it, it's a good deal. It could be one game, it could be 20 games, whatever. Get them, and I'm going to give each game at least 15 or 20 minutes because there's some shit out there. I'm sure there's some terrible games, just like there is on every system.
It's a generous amount of time.
Yeah, but 15, 20 minutes at least might be dreadful, might be one of the best decisions I ever made. So I'm going to be playing through them. Now, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I own a Switch, and I've been playing around on the Super Nintendo little classics section on there. And I love Zelda. Never got to play Link's Awakening, so I decided to, play that one on there. Game's fantastic. I've almost beat the damn game in 2 days. So, if all the games are going to hold up this well, then
They don't.
Well, like I said, I'm sure, or wait, I said a Link's Awakening. It's not a Link's Awakening. It's a Link to the Past.
Link to the Past.
Yeah, Link to the Past, not Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is the Switch title.
A Link to the Trash.
Yeah.
What I call it.
So I played it. I started it 2 days ago or 3 days ago, something like that. Just because I'm probably about 75% of the way through of playing through it. Now, obviously, it is by no means the size of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, anything like that. So, like saying I'm 75% of the way through in a couple days is not a major accomplishment, but it's been fantastic. So point of the story is we're going to go through, I'm going to make videos. Each one of the games, you're going to get my honest feedback, and it's going to be honest. I promise. It's not going to be made up to please people. So we're going to go through, play the games about 15, 20 minutes, something like that, and give an honest review. And I don't even know how many games there are for Super Nintendo. I assume it's probably 700-800. I don't know.
I want to say 896, but don't quote me.
Yeah, it's up there. So that means that 890 something times you get to see me either praising or trashing a Super Nintendo game. So it should be fun. Feel free to make donations so I don't have to spend all of my hard-earned money on Super Nintendo games.
We'll set up a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
There's 722 in North America.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've seen a couple of them that are into the hundreds. But we will see what it ends up being.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. I wanted to send it while you were talking about it.
There are only a handful of defining moments to change the course of your future and shape who you are as a person. Genesis or Super Nintendo. I was the one that had the Genesis. That was I. I did not have the Super Nintendo. But so we shall see. We shall see what happens. I think it'll be fun, but you know, I may never financially recover from this, but
I don't think you will, but we'll see.
Like that Earthbound game. I don't know what the most expensive game is on Super Nintendo. I haven't really paid attention to the prices on games. I've just seen like a couple of them, and like I've watched some YouTube videos and stuff to where I've seen what people pay for like complete in box games. So like if there's complete in box games of Super Nintendo going into the thousands, I'm sure minimum I'm going to be spending like $15-$20 a game, low end upwards of $200-$300, so
Earthbound's definitely one of them. Never played it.
Earthbound's like 400, I believe, something like that.
Jeez.
But yeah, A Link to the Past, fantastic. One of the Zelda games I never got to play because I never had Super Nintendo. So yeah, that is a new plan. So you all can.
Are there any other games on that SNES Switch that caught your eye that you want to play when you finish Zelda?
So the only game I've ever played on, well, two games that no, I take that back. All right, three. I'm 100% sure on this. Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, and Super Punch Out are the only games that I've ever played on Super Nintendo. So I've messed around with those. Other than that, I don't know shit. One of my favorite games for Sega Genesis ever was that game that I told you that's on that Sega Classics that we got, that Lost Vikings. Had no idea that was on Super Nintendo before it was on Genesis. But yeah, so there's all kinds of games that I had no idea was even on the system. And I'm over here playing it on other stuff and thinking that, oh, that's a console exclusive before console exclusives almost. Like back there being like, yeah, you remember Lost Vikings for Sega Genesis? Bet you never played that. But yeah, I played on Super Nintendo 2 years before. Like, oh, like, yeah. Well.
Whoops. I urge you to play Batman Returns, but stay away from Batman Forever.
I don't think any of the Batman games are on there. Looking through the Switch thing, it gets a little confusing because like I have to Google it because I don't know what it means, but like it will list the games, and then sometimes there's duplicates of the games, and it says special. So I think it's the Japanese version.
That or everything's unlocked, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't know. Sure. I don't know what it means. So yeah, that's I just really wanted to play it. So that was like the first one I started playing before I like technically acquired a Super Nintendo. Now the only part that I'm at right now is, do I A, go buy a Super Nintendo, or B, do I buy that Retron thing that I sent you to where I can play NES, Super Nintendo, and Genesis all on the same console, and it just plugs in with HDMI. That's where
I go with option B.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. So that's probably what I'm going to do with it, but we'll see. So that is one of the upcoming things. I guess we'll probably just use this YouTube channel and then the Facebook and everything and just upload it all to the same thing instead of trying to separate my 800 or 700 and whatever he said.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this
what videos together. So some of them are obviously going to be very short because the games are going to suck, and my 15 minutes will be me dreading counting down until the 15-20 minutes is over, and then I'll just toss that shit to the side and be like, nope, trash, never going to play it again. Like no redeeming qualities, just absolutely awful.
Put a little trash can sticker on it so you don't have to touch it again.
I mean, for the most part, like I said, I understand that not all the games are going to be like Link to the Past, but like for me, playing that almost reminded me of like playing something on like a Game Boy Color kind of like, but like it just it made sense. Not a bunch of controls. Things were, looked good. Wasn't super confusing. I knew where to go. Wasn't lost and shit. And so I was like,
Consider
hey,
yourself lucky.
yeah, I was just like, all right, that's this is a good start. So I'm still gonna buy the game, obviously, and play it in its in the intended form, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how much different games look on the Switch compared to original. Like I feel like they're not just direct ports. I feel like they're a little bit upscaled, maybe. And
They
like,
might be. I don't know.
I mean, because that shit was colorful and like it it played smooth. I'm not saying that like technology sucked, but I don't know. I mean, if that's what it looked like back then in 90 whatever the heck,
92, 93.
yeah, 92, 93, whatever. I missed out. If that's if that's how games look, because I remember going from NES to Sega Genesis, and I thought that was a giant jump, and then PlayStation and so on and all that, and I missed out if that's how
You missed out regardless not having a Super Nintendo.
this is true. So when you on Super Nintendo, don't you have to turn off the power and then press the eject button afterwards? Because if you try to press it before, it doesn't eject or something like that.
I have no idea. Don't recall that.
Oh, okay. Because there's like an eject button, like
Yes, there is, but I don't.
right in the middle. And
Mhm.
so I think the sticker that obviously is gone for most of them, that little sticker says power off before pressing the eject button or something like that, I think is what it says. But I don't know. But
Is
I
that the
thought that
one
was
you sent
kind
me
of
the other day? You found a link to one that still had the sticker on it?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just thought that was kind of different, because like the NES, I mean, you can open that bitch up and it can be like not even pushed down and that shit works. So I just thought that was kind of, I just imagine the amount of broke things because people didn't turn it off and tried to rip out the cartridge back then. So
Yeah, I don't have any memory of that. I don't know.
yeah. All right. So it is time for the would you rather. We've done it a couple times and I keep finding good ones. So I figured we would keep it around for a little bit. So
This one's tough.
would you rather never be able to listen to the same song twice or never be able to watch the same TV show or movie twice?
You said you had your answer. I still don't.
My
I don't
answer,
know.
so it's a difficult question, but my answer is easy because for me, I watch the same TV shows over and over and over and over and over again. So for me, if you tell me that I couldn't watch like Breaking Bad or I'm rewatching Dexter for like the fucking sixth time or something like that, or uh I've watched through that Last Dance, documentary over and over again. Point is, if I couldn't watch TV shows over and over again, I'd be very, very disappointed. Music, like there's songs I've heard 100 times, but I have way more nostalgia and attachment to TV shows than I do music. Most of my nostalgic memories through music is sitting in my or driving in my car, listening to music with subwoofers, smoking cigarettes, being a juvenile delinquent. That is that is where most of my memories of music come from. But like TV shows, I remember as a kid, like we would sit in my parent way, like we would go down in the basement at my parents' house and we watch episodes of Friends. And I mean, we would watch House and just yeah, TV shows. Like I don't know how many box sets of TV shows. Movies, eh, eh, eh,
I don't know, man. This is so I can't throw on my 50 Cent playlist
nope.
and or I can't watch The Sopranos or Breaking Bad. And I mean,
Make it like this. Would you rather never listen to your 50 Cent again or never watch one of your horror movies again?
it's rough. I spend more time with obviously movies and TV shows than I do with music. I don't listen to music at home anymore. Sometimes I'll throw it on in the shower, but that's just driving. If I go somewhere, obviously music's playing. So I'm gonna have to. I still don't know. I told you last night. This one messed me up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with never be able to listen to the same song twice. I don't think in the long run I could give up my TV shows and my horror movies. There's
Oh
no
yeah.
way.
I music is something that unless I'm in a car or like if I'm in a car or I'm mowing the grass, outside of that, I don't listen to music. And so
Podcasts
I
has kind of ruined music for me because there's about 3 or 4 podcasts that I listen to religiously. So if I'm mowing the grass, chances are I'm not listening to music. I'm
yeah.
listening to a podcast.
So I mean, not saying that I'd be perfectly fine living that way, but I made a joke about being on the Oregon Trail a couple episodes ago. You take away my movies and not even really my movies. You take away my TV shows that I can watch repeatedly. I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I just
Can you imagine
I'd be
watching a new
lost.
TV show and hearing a dope ass song and you're like, "Fuck, I can't listen to that ever again."
Uh, I mean, I think the way that I would think about that is like, have you ever watched the show Empire?
No.
Okay, so it's essentially about music and record deals. I mean, like obviously it's got twists and turns and backstories and all that stuff in it. But they have some songs on there that are like, you know, pretty cool to where like at the time I actually got on like iTunes and was like, hey, I want to figure out what that song is, re-listen to it. Now, those are super cool songs, but if somebody said you can never listen to them again, or they
Mhm.
said you can never watch the show again, I'd pick watching the show again. Like
And these are
more
getting
hour,
tougher and tougher each week.
more hours of entertainment, more replayability, or not replayability, but rewatchability. You know, it's just overall, it's the right decision. Unless you just hate TV, then I guess you can live with your music. That's fine. But you know,
If you hate TV,
mm,
you've never seen Sopranos.
there's so many good things on TV. Well, were nowadays, I'm sure there's probably season 6 of a TV show that I've never heard of that's on TV or something that I'll never watch. The most recent show that I watched on TV was called The Good Doctor, and I think it's probably on like season 4, 5, 6. I don't know what season it's on now, but I stopped watching after like the third one because like the whole thought of cable and like watching something weekly and not being able to binge it and then having to just wait for a commercial to figure out when the new season is going to come on,
Right.
like that's like it sounds stupid, but like that's outdated technology in my brain. Like
I
I want
can't
to
do The
wait
Good
till I get
Doctor.
an I want to get I want to wait till I get a notification that says new season of such and such is added on, Max or Netflix or whatever, and I get to go on there and then 13 episodes I get to, go through. That's how
Yeah,
I want to watch things now. So
same. Yeah. If I wanna watch it all in one day, let me watch it all in
yeah,
one day.
we've been ruined by things like that. Um, who's the platform that still does that where they do it weekly? Um, was it
Uh,
Max that was doing that? Like each week an episode was coming out?
Showtime did it with, Dexter, right?
Yeah, but I thought Max did it with like that Laker show.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Yep.
where like every Wednesday there'd be a
And it
new
caused me to stop
episode.
watching it. I
Yeah,
was like,
that's what I
"Yeah,
said.
whatever."
It because I don't keep up with it.
Mhm.
Like it sounds stupid to say that like I don't have enough time to keep up with it, but like I mean, even back in the day when I had cable, I didn't watch shit live on cable. I was just like, "Oh, hey, that's gonna come on at this time, set to record new episodes," and then, like, the next day, I'd check my DVR, be like, "Oh, look, new episode of such and such, new episode of this," and then I'd watch it, and I got to skip through the commercials, but very rarely did I ever have time to sit down and watch through something live. because that's just annoying. Like who wants to do that? Like that just free of commercials.
Mhm.
Next day when I can go through it, like that's
Throw it
just
on and let it roll.
just the way it is. So, which that way of thinking leads us into the next topic is we've been doing game reviews
Hey,
for 20
listen!
episodes now, and eventually we're going to run out of games that are either A, good, or B, that we've all played together.
I can only
And
shit on the Switch so much, people.
so we decided to switch it up a little bit and just do a review time of something that is either A, relevant, or just B, something that we've all seen. It could be a game, a movie, TV show. We won't get into the horrific presidential debates and reviewing those, but something in the world of pop culture that we've both seen. It could be new, old, whatever, and they'd be able to do it. So there was something, like I said, got on Netflix a couple days ago and saw there was something called Dirty Pop on there. Had no idea what it was. Saw something about a guy named Lou Pearlman, and I was like, hey, it's 3 episodes. They're all there. I ain't got to watch them with commercials. I ain't got no ads. By the way, if you have Netflix with ads, do yourself a favor, get rid of it because that's absolutely terrible way to watch anything. Um, so apparently Lou Pearlman made the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, O Town, uh,
Big scam artist is what
but
that guy is.
there's a bunch of boy bands. Basically, any boy band that you could think of from the 90s, 2000s era that was somewhat popular. He had a hand in making and scamming as well. So for the Backstreet Boys, he took all of their money from them, number one, and also made himself the honorary sixth member of the Backstreet Boys. And
Ridiculous.
so now I'm not saying the man shouldn't have gotten some money. Like,
But not all of it.
no, yeah. So I'm saying, like, he had a hand in making them. He obviously had to fund uh you know, whether they had voice lessons, dancing, trips, studio, whatever. Like, I mean, these are a bunch of, I mean, I think some were like 14 at the time,
Mhm.
whenever. And so he had to spend money. Well, he didn't spend his own money. He spent his blown up blimp insurance scam buddy to be able to do it. But so he somehow maneuvered a contract to where he was the sixth member of NSYNC and the sixth member of Backstreet Boys. So not only did he get money from record sales and everything that they were doing, like he was a member, he also got his cut that they were paying him on top of it. So the man was kind of like, in a sense, he was a genius, but he's also a jackass for doing these kind of things, But I don't know how he got away with it for as long as he did. But he got like what 60, did they say $64 million or something like that? And
Crazy.
this man could have kept going. All he had to do was pay his attorney that helped him get the $64 million, like 14 or something. And like $14 million is a lot of money, but if he would have done that, who knows? He very easily could have still been going today, still been scamming people, living the life that he wanted. But his attorney was the one that decided, hey, he ain't ever paid me, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take action. And then people start coming out of the woodwork saying, oh yeah, he wanted me to invest in this, and I never got my money back, and da 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 da. And it came out to be like $500 million or something like that over time that he had, you know, scammed people out of. And his one friend, or yeah, I think it was his friend, that was in business with him. He ended up, committing suicide, and yeah, just rough, rough
Yeah.
situation there. And then he's in
He had it
prison.
good for a long time.
Yeah, and then he went to prison, and somehow they allowed this man to have like some voluntary heart surgery or something that he was trying to do or whatever. And then I guess he passed away in surgery. Um, and then they said he's got a bunch of money missing. Nobody knows where it's at. And so,
Buried.
yeah, well, I mean, he didn't have anybody. So,
Let's get our
you know,
shovels, baby. Let's go
and
find this NSYNC money.
unless he told that nurse lady that he tried to make his girlfriend or whatever, that unless
Now
she knows
look,
where it's at. So,
when you're shaped like Dr. Eggplant and you see New Kids on the Block and you're like, who the fuck, how can they afford one of my planes? And then
yeah.
you're like, let me go find young boys to dance and sing. He should have been on a watch list somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, in today's world, like, just say boy bands were never a thing,
Are they
and
still a
then
thing? Do we have boy bands?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so, but I couldn't tell you, to be totally honest.
We're
But
Swifties over here, so I don't know about boy bands.
but just say, like, that was never an era, and then that was and everything else still happened the way that it did. And then now here we fast forward to today's world. Say Lou Pearlman comes out, and all of a sudden we're getting the Backstreet Boys, we're getting the NSYNCs, we're doing all this. First thing someone says to him is, he seems to like little boys, like that's the first thing that is being said in
Yeah,
today's
dude.
But back then, like, I would like to think that I would have enough common sense back then as a parent to, like, think this is not normal. I mean,
100%.
maybe people just had a different mindset, but, like, I just have it very I find it very hard to believe that people back then saw the things like that, saw the things that, like, well, from that Nickelodeon, documentary, like, saw all these things, and no person had enough common sense to think there's something fishy here, there's something wrong. Like, I don't feel like the level of, like, intelligence has raised over the years to where people are smarter than what they were back then. So, I mean, I know it's a
You
different
got
world, but I mean,
there's some people out there that probably obviously all this information's out there now. The whole Nickelodeon, all that stuff, who know this. And if they were approached to be like, hey, I think your kid has a future in this business, they're gonna be like,
yeah, people make some
yeah, go ahead, give me the
pe-
paycheck.
people make some poor decisions for money. That is true. Even knowing, you know, the 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 outcome from it. But I
Well, another question for you here. In Sync or Backstreet Boys? Which one were you on? Were you a Backstreet Boy? Were you in Sync?
I liked NSYNC. I don't remember,
Hey.
right? Yeah, I just oh yeah, so speaking of, I don't know why it made me, so you said Backstreet Boys are NSYNC. It made me think of NSYNC, which then made me think of Justin Timberlake, which then had a correlation to Britney Spears. And then that made me remember that Lou Pearlman also was the person that Britney Spears was apparently a part of some girl group. Had no idea, that
Me
that
either.
was a thing. And then he took her from the girl group and then got her to be a solo artist in the beginning. And I was just like, I had no idea that this special individual in charge of so many things, musically from my childhood, and didn't have a fucking ounce of music experience before he decided to do all this.
Kind of
But
impressive.
just like I said, like, with the level of intelligence being higher, I don't feel like people are smarter in today's world. But, like, how do you go on national TV and somehow get in connection with a TV, like, provider, and make a whole TV show that's not even like the truth? Like, when he went over to Germany, took a bunch
Mhm.
of random fuckers from over there and said, "Oh, made it in America." These people weren't a band, hadn't made a record, didn't perform a concert, hadn't done anything, didn't even know each other. somehow gets the rights to a TV show, puts on this TV show, fools everybody that these people are huge stars in America. How does that happen? Like nobody said, "Hey, can you show me some proof?"
Right. Show me
They're
some.
just, that's just like, I mean, like, if I had the ability to walk into a bank today and then to be like, "Hey, I need one of them loans," and they're like, "All right, well, can you show me your financials?" Be like, "I can cover it," and they're just like, "Well, we're gonna need to see a little bit." Be like, "No, you don't, not really. Just take my word for it. Like, just give me $1 million, I could pay it back." And it's just like I don't understand how things like that slip through the cracks. But I mean, I guess it happens regardless. But that was the funniest part to me for him to be able to go and like, because you find gullible people. He convinced all these people to invest in him. Like that's nothing. But like when you're going to corporations and they're just like, "Yeah, you can have a TV show," you know,
Right.
they're like, "Your boy band? Never heard of them, but they're big in America." Be like, "You've never heard of them, but they're big in America."
We
Got
just
it.
didn't fact
Oh,
check in
yeah.
93.
Just like, all right, got it. Um, so yeah, that was the whole documentary was kind of crazy, but yeah, it was good, but I actually learned a lot of things. I didn't know that. Honestly, I had no idea who Lou Pearlman was in terms of that. The only manager
Me
I
either.
cared about whenever I was growing up was Eminem, Paul Rosenberg.
Paul Rosenberg.
Yeah, that was the only person I knew that was a manager of somebody that I actually knew his name and knew what he did. Other than that, I had no idea that Lou Pearlman had a hand in Backstreet Boys, In Sync, and O Town, and whoever else was on there. So,
Only manager I was concerned with was Paul Bear, baby.
all right. So the next thing is the lovely Game Informer is now, is it shut down or shutting down
I think
by,
it's officially shut down.
yeah. So that means that the poor old GameStop has no incentive to give people the pro membership because you don't get your magazine anymore.
You haven't got your
So
magazine for a long time.
yeah, it's all digital.
Yep.
So I don't think I've ever read one digital, to be totally honest. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but
I'm pretty sure the last time that I was a pro member, they asked me if, to sign up, and I was like, I mean, it's only going to cost me like $3. Let's do it. But I was like, can I please not get the Game Informer emails? Like, I just don't want
oh
the
yeah,
digital magazine, please.
yeah. But I think that it would have been 30 years. I mean, like, so basically, like,
33, I think.
yeah, like our entire life, pretty
Hmm.
much almost of Game Informer being around. Um, the crazy part is I don't feel like those magazines were ever worth anything. Like, like the Nintendo Powers and, like stuff like
Right.
that. Like people like are kind of sought after. But I assume now that it's done that at least before it went digital, obviously. Um, they may be worth something, maybe not. I don't know.
Let's hope. I got stacks and stacks and stacks of those
You
from
kept
when I
them all?
worked there. Oh, I have a ton of them.
Oh, I see. I never kept mine. Like I just read it, threw it away. It probably will be at some point. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know
I've
how
got a
long.
ton.
I don't know how long it'll take, before it becomes something, or it may never become something. I don't know. Did they never really did like special things, did they?
No,
Like some of
nope.
those like Nintendo Powers, like you get like a poster or you get, like one of them had like a Pokemon trading card in it or something like that. But like I don't feel like the Game Informers ever did anything. It was just
Nope.
pages. Like
They just
of
came in massive boxes that were stacked full, and you're just, here you go.
yeah.
Here you
Yeah,
go.
I just feel like it was just like pages. I don't feel like they ever did anything that would differentiate or make them
You want to know a fun fact?
worth anything. What's that?
Everybody was a rewards member when I was a cashier because I was passing those things out left and right. Want a Game Informer? Here you go. What were they, like $5 if you had to buy one?
I think so. Something like
Yeah.
that. Or it was
Thanks
was
for
it
coming in. Have a
was it
magazine.
$15 for people?
$15 to sign up, but I think if
Yeah.
you just wanted to buy whatever issue was out, it was like $5.
Yeah.
Not when I
Um,
was working.
Yeah. But yeah, so the death of the Game Informer. I mean, it was obviously coming. I'm honestly surprised that they lasted. I mean, they probably lasted a good, I don't want to say 10 years digital. There's at least 5, I would think,
Yeah,
something like that. I mean,
29 did COVID kill it? I don't know. 2019, 2020.
I couldn't tell you the last time I got a Game Informer magazine in the mail, to be honest. So
Oh shit, that's
I
been
I
a
I
lifetime
don't know,
ago.
but I think that they've been doing it digitally for a little while, and I mean, to be a digital magazine and to last, like, more than a year, I mean, I think that's a pretty pretty good accomplishment. I mean, I I have never read one in my life. I feel like there's a lot of people like me that, you know, I don't feel like you were ever itching to get your Game Informer fix, by by going and reading it digitally. Like so I mean, the fact they hung on as long as they did, is kind of surprising. Um,
I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw that article, my brain went to IGN. And I was like, "Oh shit, IGN shutting down. What the hell's going on?" Then I was like, "Oh, it's Game Informer." All
I
right.
mean, it's probably next. I
I don't know.
mean,
They got that advantage of being. I mean, they're a website. They're not printing magazines and shit.
that's true, but like you got to think like with Reddit, Twitter, like everything else, like that's news now. Like,
Twitter
okay,
is news.
exactly.
I mean,
That's
bam,
that's what I'm
bam,
saying.
bam.
Like, okay, when something in the world happens and you want to know about it, first thing you do is open up Twitter and you type it in. It doesn't matter what it is. When somebody tried to assassinate Donald Trump, first thing you do, Twitter, 3 minutes. There's a video. There's everything that's
There's
on there.
different angles of the
A
shooting.
UFC fight happens 2 minutes after the finish. Full video of the knockout right there. For you to be able to see like anything that you need to know, anything that you want to know, you can find it on Twitter in minutes. Like that is news. There is there's no reason to, read a newspaper, or something, next day, oh, someone tried to assassinate Donald Trump. How did I miss this?
Can you
Like,
imagine?
I mean, it's just like that's not, you know, that's not how the world operates anymore.
You
And
got your
so
bathrobe, your cup of
yeah,
coffee,
and
your
it's just
newspaper.
yeah, walk out to the end of your driveway, pick up your newspaper, sit down, be like, well, when did this happen? I was just like, I can't believe it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it'd all be phased out eventually. I mean, even, like even when you go and you look for like, video game related news, there's so many different websites and you get on there and it's just filler garbage that they're
Mhm.
just putting on there. Like there's nothing worthwhile and you got to like sift through all the crap to find something that you actually want to see, And then, but the same thing is like I do that to try to find things that I don't already know, because like other than that, like I could just make shit up as I go along and oh, there's a new game that was announced. Oh, this trailer came out, oh, this, like those are like big things that are pretty well known, like trying to find little things inside of that is the only reason to search for video game news. Because like, you get on there and you search for video game news and it's like indie game, indie game, indie game, Astrobot's coming out, indie game, and then, Discord this, there's a bug in Diablo, like, it's just like random crafts. Like, I mean, I could write them all down and we could spend 30 seconds on all these different things, but like they're just not like talking points of things that would, you know, last very long. So,
Right.
but anyway, I'll be fine without my Game Informer magazine.
Yeah, I think
I
I'll
ain't,
live.
I ain't read one of those in forever. I mean, now basically we have the Nintendo directs and PlayStation State of Plays, and that's pretty much your video game news for the most part. And other than that, if you have social media, eventually you're going to be scrolling through, and if you're looking at anything video game related, you're going
Yeah,
to
you're gonna see it.
see,
Mhm.
something that you're interested in, just because your phone, is much of a pain in the ass as it is, and like invasion of privacy for it to like listen to everything that goes on. Like there are times where, I'll get on Facebook or something and be scrolling and be like, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. Like, that's something I'm actually interested in. But, without speaking it into existence, it wouldn't be there. But, that's how I find out everything. So that's why I don't know what TV shows are on, because I don't watch cable and I don't watch anything. So that stuff
Me
never
either.
pops up, on my phone. So
Same here.
all right. So moving on. This is I guess we can call it a listener request
Sure is. Shout out
uh
Nick.
of Nick to the top 3 wrestling theme songs.
I
Now,
can't do 3. There's no way.
you can't do 3?
No way. I can't. When he brought this up, he wanted top 10. I'm like, I can't do
10.
10.
I
There's too many.
I mean, I could name off 10, but like none of them are recent, obviously. Um so for me, it is, I don't know. See, I didn't put them in order because like
The first one's in
I
order. The other 2 are
I
interchangeable.
can't. Well, okay. Uh, all right, I got 3 and then honorable mention.
Go for
So number 1, Shawn Michaels,
it. Hey, classic.
and I can't tell you the amount of times I've walked into a room being my obnoxious self and done the little sexy boy pose in.
Get out of here.
So, um, so that's number 1, and then 2, 3, the Hulk Hogan and why can't I think? Holy shit, Stone Cold Glass Shatter.
Classic.
I don't know. I don't know what order you put those in. And then honorable mention, the Hardy Boys theme song. You know it immediately. It's fantastic. But like I said, we could do top 25, and you could
There's too many.
name off so many different ones from, our childhood. I can name off another 10, and I guarantee you 5 of them are on your list. So
The ones I decided on are ones that I sometimes to this day will still listen to. My number one's my number one. That's Triple H. Time to Play the Game. That is the greatest theme song in my eyes of all time.
Do you have a theme song where it just pops into your head for absolutely no reason and you just say it out loud?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So mine that I do that with is not on my list. But it's a great theme song, but like I just did it the other day, I believe. I just walked into a room and I think Hayes was watching TV and I was walking in and I said, "You think you know me?" She's like, "What?" I'm like, nothing. Don't worry about it.
The one I do that with is Matt Hardy's theme song. Me and Nick joke around about it to this day. We don't know the lyrics, so we made our own up, but that would be the one that I just shout out randomly. Number 2 is gonna be Basic Thugonomics from John Cena. You ever listen to his album?
Is that the one? So has he always had the same theme?
It was different before the big popular one.
So you're not talking about the present day one?
No. The one before that.
Okay.
When he was rapping on TV all the time.
I don't remember that one. I mean, I do, but like the one that's iconic to me is the present day one,
right?
Where you hear the bird, at the beginning, and then he comes running out. So
yeah, check out his album, man. It's awesome. Really good.
I've heard it. I never owned it, but I did listen to it.
You want to talk about a top 5 rapper? That's a trademark, baby. I think it's his cousin. Number 3, I don't know. This one I'll play around with. It's either Randy Orton's current one. I don't know why I like that song so much. Or it's gonna be some Motorhead again, the old Evolution theme song. Great song.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Great
Yeah,
song.
like I said, there's a ton. I mean, they're all from 2000. I want to say prior 2010.
I was gonna split it up and do like ones that there's like lyrics and then ones that are just strictly music. It's like
Oh
Bret
yeah.
Hart. Bret Hart's song is
Oh
that'd be an
yeah,
honorable mention for me.
the guitar at the
Whee!
yeah, yeah. See, now we're doing this. Now I'm gonna be walking around the house going, "I am a real American."
I believe that was in Nick's top 5 or top 10.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's just
Endless.
I'm hoping. I
NWO.
hope. I
Mm.
hope and pray that come what is it, January? Is that when they
Well, when they go to
switch?
Netflix.
Yes. They're supposed to switch over to Netflix, supposed to go back to the edgier content or whatever you wanna call it. Um, I wonder if going to Netflix would make them uncensored.
I believe if they want it to be, yes.
Yeah. So,
I
I
saw
don't know
something
how.
today. I don't know how truthful it is, but they were thinking about a name change when they go to Netflix, possibly back to WWF. They're bringing the F back.
Well, I
I doubt
wonder
we see that, but
well, I don't know if they can.
yeah, with that World Wildlife Fund or
Yeah.
whatever that
I
was.
mean I mean, maybe they can, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I mean, I don't know how that kind of stuff works, obviously, but, like, if the World Wildlife Fund is WWF and their World Wrestling Federation, WWF, and they both existed for, you know, I mean, what WWF goes back to what, the 60s, 50? I mean, how old does it go?
That I don't know.
Yeah,
They
so
blew
I
up
mean,
in what,
like,
the 80s, late 80s is
well,
when it
so
really
like,
blew up.
if they're both things, I don't know the backstory on that to like why wrestling is the one that had to change it instead of either A, they both just saying, "Hey, we'll agree to be friends," and we'll just
At one point in time, I knew, but I think that Vince was just finding ways to drag it out in court for so long, and then it finally reached the point where
well, I
either
just
he
it
got
was I
tired of
just
paying court fees and he just dropped the F, add the E.
yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you can do that. Like, tell somebody like, "Well, we have the same abbreviation." Like, okay, so do lots of other things, you know?
Right?
Like, I mean, it's like, so you're gonna tell me that literally, like nothing can ever have the saying of ABC ever again? Like that we just we're just ABC, the Fox, like all these things like they're trademarked to where literally no one on the face of the planet can ever have the same thing. Like I just don't feel like I don't think that's true. So I just there has to be a reason for it. I don't know. I'm surprised there's not a documentary on the whole entire name change of WWF to WWE, to be totally honest.
I'm sure something will
Um,
come out.
but
Hey, I think we need to go try out.
tough
We,
enough.
we can be some tag team champions, dude.
I,
We'll call
I'd,
our
I'd
group will
be
be the
I'd be
LCOP.
I'd be injured in a
Oh,
month.
my right knee would be blown out walking into a ring, dude.
Hey, the way you went bouncing down that fucking bouncy house from
Yeah, shit
your
hurt.
your your fun day at work or whatever, that was dangerous. I felt sorry for your spine after you went down that thing like you were a 6-year-old child instead of a 30-something-year-old man. That
Believe it or
was
not, the dunk tank hurt worse.
oh, well, yeah, I could probably see that. That might be worse. Um, but yeah, I hope that You know, I've said it 1,000 times. I don't think we just need to go like full on vulgar, just HBO style, but like the whole edgy, like it's 2024. This whole like participation trophy, everybody, sensitivity thing. Like, sure, there's that group out there, but like, there's a whole group of people out there that is like, hey, give me the attitude era back, and they would be more than happy with
Right.
with that being on TV. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's some parents out there that shelter their kids and don't want them to see things. And like, I do that
Good
to an
luck in today's
extent.
world.
Well, I mean, like, I do that to an extent. Like, but there's just certain things to me that are not a priority. Like, it's like, yes, if all of a sudden my, child comes home reeking of cigarettes, we got a problem,
Mhm.
like, but if I get a call from the school and be like, oh, they called somebody an ass, be like, oh no, like, just like, it's like, lose this number, don't call me back. Like, it's like, call me back after 7. I get free nights and weekends. Like, don't call me
Oh,
back. Like,
what a
I
deep
don't
cut.
care. Like,
That was
I
a
just
deep cut right there.
yeah, like, I don't care. Like, I just so I don't know. It's just kids are going to be kids. If you shelter kids and try to prevent them from looking into things and experiencing things, it's going to make them want to do that more. Like, I don't understand why that needs to be told to some people, but if you tell somebody they can't do something, it's only going to make them want to do it more because they're going to want to figure out why you're telling them not to do it.
Mhm.
Like, they're not gonna say, "Well, my dad said that's bad, so I'm gonna stay away," Most of the time, they're gonna say, "My dad said that's bad. Wonder why." Like, let's go find out.
It's
And,
crazy people still try that angle too. Like that is tried and tested. It's documented. The harder
I've
you are about something, they're going to rebel 10 times harder.
some of my friends that were, like, super sheltered and, like, in church 2 and 3 times a week and, like, not allowed to listen to music and watch TV, video games, like, those some of those kids, they hit high school or, even or after, and they went nuts.
Mhm.
And, you know, that's just
First exposure to something.
I'm sure there's statistics on that, but, yeah, that that's not the way that I ever intend to parent, and I don't think it's a wise decision to I think you should teach your kids things, let them know things, and
Yeah.
like, explain to
There's
them the good and the bad in it instead of just saying like, "Hey, don't touch it," like, and then expect them to just do as you say and like with no teaching, you know,
right.
behind it.
Quite a few
So,
people from high school. Yeah. I mean, they'd snort anything you put in front of them. I don't know how many throat goats I know out there. A lot of fucking damaged people out there from that high school.
yeah, it's yeah, I just poor, poor, poor decisions from some people. So,
Well, thank God we made it out. We didn't do anything
mhm.
wild.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I would have followed some of those people, I mean, who knows? But all right, so we're switching something up again, trying all kinds of different things. We're only. It seems like we've been doing this forever, but we're only 20 episodes in, 21 counting this one. So we're just trying different things, figuring things out, seeing what works, what people enjoy, and also what's fun to do. At the same time. So normally at this point we have the face off of picking, characters, movies, TV shows. We did superheroes last time, and putting them up against one another, picking one or the other. But eventually, just like the whole game review, we're going to run out of things to do. There's only so many Nintendo characters, there's only so many protagonists, there's only so many TV shows, there's only so many that we can do. So we are going to not completely get rid of it, but throw a couple, different things in instead of just doing the same thing every single episode. So this one is agree or disagree. So I'm going to give you a couple. Give me your thoughts. I'll tell you mine. So battle passes for games are a good idea.
Uh, I mean, what's the difference between DLC and a battle pass? I don't.
Well, some games have DLCs and battle passes
And yeah, I guess that's true.
and loot.
I don't know. Are they a good idea? I mean, for the business, yes. Like if we had a game and we were doing battle passes, that's a good idea for us because parents are going to
Yeah.
pay for it. Overall, I don't know. I feel like did the Lou Pearlman guy, did he come up with battle passes? Like this seems like a scam. I'm going to
Well,
disagree
so
that they're a good idea.
Overwatch at some point used to have loot boxes, and they had like
No,
a whole like litigation thing of like court and everything to where it was basically considered gambling, and they had to get rid of it because they were saying like kids were like essentially gambling. Which I mean, my stance on it is if you're gonna do one, you got to do them all. You know,
right.
so I think it's stupid that Overwatch got rid of loot boxes, but then you can hop on Madden, which tons of kids play, or FIFA, and put your parents' credit card on there, buy a bunch of packs and rip open imaginary players on cards. It's the same thing. Like,
I think
you know,
we've,
you're doing the same thing. So,
I think we're like on the same stance. I don't care for DLC battle. I don't, if I buy the game, I just wish it was the damn game.
mhm. I mean,
Like,
I have friends that buy cosmetic things in games. It's gotta be something really cool for me to do it. So like I play Overwatch a ton and I don't buy anything that's on the shop except when something is really, really cool. So they did a Transformers collaboration uh 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I could be Optimus Prime with the character
oh shit.
that I am. Had to buy that one. But like there's a ton that like, you know, and I don't buy like I mean like with Fortnite for example. Like I played Fortnite when it first came out. Like, you know, and I mean I played it for a good I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. I can't tell you how long I played it for. And like, you know, they had a lot of cosmetic things. They had skins, you know, all these different things that came out. And like people can were selling their Fortnite accounts on eBay and they'd have 700 something skins, you know, in it. And like they're
That's
selling it,
crazy.
you know, for whatever. And like I go to mine and like I go through my skins. I got like six and four of them I got for free just for playing the game. You
Yep.
know, so it's like I just don't want to spend my money on things like that, and it's not a thing of really how much it costs, like, I'm just not interested. Like, it's not that I can't justify it, it's just that I don't want it, you know? Like, they had the Fallout skins in Fortnite not too long ago. Don't care, you know? Like,
Right.
it's gotta be really cool. The last thing I did buy a skin in Fortnite, though. It was Eminem. Had to buy Eminem.
Of course.
I can rap the real Slim Shady after I kill somebody. That is worth my
Can you
money.
really?
Like, yes, like, that is worth my money. All the
Mm,
like, but, like, it's gotta be something that's worthwhile for me to be able to do. Otherwise, like, I just don't care. Like, I'm not it's not like it's not that I'm getting on there and being like, "Oh my god, it costs $10 for a skin. This is ridiculous." Like, I'm on there and I'm like, "That's fucking dumb." Like, who's buying that? You know, like, that's my stance on it. So, I mean,
I think I
I
did buy John Wick on Fortnite for my son, and he was like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, "I just wanted you to play as John Wick. I'm not going to explain who it is. I just think it's going to be awesome while I'm watching you play."
So, I mean, I think battle passes are good as long as that's all that there is. So, like, if you buy a battle pass and then that then entitles you to every, you know, you got 100 levels or whatever, and every level you're getting something, you know, worthwhile. It's going to be cosmetic, obviously. They're not going to be handing, you know, anything that is worth a shit. But if you're getting 100 different things for $10, that seems cool. Now, when it becomes a problem is when people like NBA 2K do it. There's no reason for NBA 2K to have a battle pass. It made it how many iterations of the game without having a battle pass?
Just
And,
capitalizing.
you know, they had the rec, they had the pro-am, they had the my player, they had everything that the game has today. Nothing new came. It's just, hey, now instead of you going and spending your money on these clothes or this, you know, pair of shoes or this emote or whatever, now you have to pay this battle pass to get it and you still can go to the store and buy all of your stuff, So it's like
No,
they just added an extra way for you to spend money. And on
nope.
top of that, now your player that you can get to level 9 or 99 overall that used to cost you like $100, now it cost you $150 too on top of it. So you got to pay for the game that's $70. Then you got to pay $150 to get that character to 99. Then, we got cosmetics. You're going to want a jersey. You're going to want some shoes, like you're going to want something else. There's another $30, on
Who's
top of it.
paying? Who's paying
You
the
know,
$300 annual 2K subscription out there? Who? I mean, that's ridiculous.
hey, I refuse to do it anymore. 2 years ago, my bank statements, they were questionable on what happened on 2K. I had a problem. I've
Well, I'm
since
glad you beat that problem. I'm
I
glad you
I
put
I
that
have
one behind you.
since rectified the problem. But yeah, I was like, ooh, a new build. I was like, I can make a new build. $100. That's fine. Worth my time. Like, yeah, it was a problem. But no,
Mm.
not anymore. I'm making one player. That's it. If I even get the game, we got to see
It,
something. That trailer they came out with, eh,
it looks the same.
it's AI. Like, I mean, it's just it's cinematic. It's not someone sitting there with a controller playing the game. I know the game's going to look the same. It's going to be slightly better.
That's
The
going to wear
days
off in an hour.
Exactly. The days of like, oh, hey, the jerseys move, or like there's sweat on the players, or like, these new things they've added. What more can you do? Like I feel like when Madden, did the wear and tear system, and or college football did it too. Like they found something new to add. There was like a new part of the game. 2K's like signature shots. Like you want to shoot
Trash.
like you want to take a sidestep like Steph Curry. You mean the animation that's already in the game that I can buy? Like now you're calling that new. Oh, okay. My bad. I could have sworn I already did it, but they're calling it new technology now. But it's
Well,
just
hey, if there's anybody out there paying that annual 2K fee, you don't have to suffer in silence. The Last Co-op podcast is here. Reach out for help. The NBA 2KA.
yeah. I will help you
Tyler's available.
help you beat the problem.
Before you punch in that credit card number, please call this number.
Yeah.
Hey, first topic we agreed to disagree. So let's see what number 2 brings.
So the next console generation will be the last one that we see.
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No, disagree. I think consoles are going to be around for a long time.
I mean, I guess it does depend on how much backlash there is from the way that things are headed. Like, I feel like they're getting pushback, but I don't know if they're getting enough pushback to change corporate's minds. Because at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about us. They want
No.
money.
All about the money.
So that's what's most important to them. And saying we don't have to manufacture a disc, we don't have to manufacture a case, we don't have to put these in retail stores, like somebody that types in their credit card information and downloads a imaginary file, that saves them a ton of money.
That's me.
So
That's well documented. I prefer digital.
yeah, so I feel like people like Ubisoft, they've rebranded their digital thing like 5 times now to where it was like the Plus, the Classics, now I think it's back to Ubisoft Plus now,
Yeah.
and they keep changing the name of it, and but it's all the same concept. Their CEO literally came out not too long ago and said, "We want to make people comfortable with not actually owning their game." And, like
Wow.
that's their that's their direction. It's like they're ready. Like they're ready to say, all right, we're putting digital only, like get used to it, get used to leasing your games. And after so long, they just, evaporate off into thin air. I'm not ready for that, and I don't think I'll ever be ready for that. My biggest gripe with digital only is there's never a fucking sale on anything that's worth a shit.
Right. This is
There's,
true.
I guarantee you I could go on right now. We could pick a random game. I could go on the PlayStation Store, and I guarantee you it is 3 times more expensive on the PlayStation Store than it is if I was to go find it on eBay or GameStop or anywhere else.
Right. I
And,
agree with that.
the PlayStation Store is like shopping at Meijer. Things never go on sale. It just doesn't matter how old the video game is, like, they're gonna be full price forever because
Yeah, they're
nobody would go and update the prices.
they're
Like,
Pixar
it's just
movies. They
yeah,
don't drop in price.
it just, it would just stay that way forever. So, um, that's, like, my main problem with it, on top of the fact that you don't ever actually own it. Um, so, like, the only time I've ever actually had an issue with digital things is you remember the Zune?
Yes, the
Yes.
rival to the
Yeah. To the
iPod.
iPod, yes. So I owned one of these, bought a bunch of music, you know. I think you could put like TV shows and stuff on it too, and it had like a screen that you could play them on. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you could do TV shows as well. But um, bought a bunch of stuff on there.
Just gone.
Gone. Where'd it go? Like, just gone.
Well, when
You
it
know,
shut
like,
down, was it
yeah,
just
it's
poof?
just poof. It's just it's gone. Like it's just I gave you money and I purchased something that I no longer own. Like, it's just gone, So like eh, eh, that's like one of the biggest problems is like that's a hard sell
What I
to
mean,
tell people you'll never own it again. Or
the
like
only
at any point I can just rob you. Just take it. And
right.
you just have to be happy about it. Like
I don't know. I
it
feel
is
like
convenient. 100% more convenient than getting up, switching out of discs. I'll give you that. But just if all of a sudden I walked into your house, gathered up all your horror movies and took them out and said, if you'd like to watch them again, you can pay me $7.99. Like you'd be pissed. It's like we're switching to a new format. These don't work anymore. You're gonna need to buy it on something else. Like that. You got to think how
most
many years you have spent
oh,
acquiring things like
a
that.
long time.
And, that's that's essentially what's happening is,
I don't know though. If you look at it, like most of these new games, you have to have an active internet connection to play,
yeah,
even if it's a physical game.
I mean, that's a problem
So
too.
who's to say if we shut the server down? Yeah, you own a game you can't play.
That is a whole nother problem. That
That's like the only
is
other argument I could have against digital and
mhm,
physical. Sure, these older games, like whatever, fine. But I mean,
yeah.
I have 15 Xbox games, and I believe all of them I have to have an active internet connection, which means there's a server out there handling that somewhere. And when they turn that off, I can't play the game.
Yep, that is a whole nother problem in itself. There's a game for PS3 I know called Mag that was
Hmm.
just literally an online shooter that was all it was, and it's useless, now
There's another game called The
to
Crew.
have
It's useless too.
where you had to be on the internet. That's a dumb concept in itself. I understand why they do it. Um, but yeah, I mean, like things like that are why I think that eventually, I mean, because let's just say we have 4 more years in this console generation, which we probably don't. But
Uh, Two and a half,
let
three.
let's just say we do. Then let's say we get the next one. Say we stretch it to 8, years. That's 12 years from now, something like that. By then, we're she's fuck my math is failing me. What,
Shit, I'll be 48.
40? Yeah, I mean, so and then our kids are gonna be, in their
Grown.
20s, so that's the market, that market grew up this way. That market grew up with, Ava's never owned a CD. She's like, Apple Music, like, it's not on Apple Music. Why can't I listen to it? Like,
Right.
she's never bought a movie, like it's Disney Plus or YouTube or, whatever. Like, that's that's going to be the adults, that are purchasing these things around that time. And I don't think they care. Like, if I was to sit down and have a conversation with Ava and be like, now, all right, now, would you like for me to buy you a disc that you have to get up and put in every time? Or would you like to just click a button? She'd be like, button, you know,
Hmm.
you know, that's that's where they're at. And so that's why I think that given how long the next console generation lasts, I think that will be the last one, especially when we're already doing things like taking Game Pass and putting it on a Fire Stick. Like,
I don't see Nintendo not producing a home console.
Nintendo would be the only one.
Yeah.
But, I don't think, and Nintendo consoles last a long time, so, I mean, we'll see. But,
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
they're
hell,
milking y'all out
we
there.
we may go back to, when we were kids. Nintendo was the lone survivor, and they kill
That's all
off
you
everybody.
had.
They kill off everybody else, and they're, back to where we first started. They're the only ones left. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I hope it's not like that, but
Time will tell.
it is. I think it's going to be, unfortunately. So,
We've agreed to disagree again.
yeah. So the last one is games should be uncensored.
100%. Now, if you want to
There,
throw the option in to turn the blood off or whatever. But I mean, if you don't want
oh
your
yeah,
kid playing Grand Theft Auto, you don't need to get.
100%. You should
Yeah.
you should be able to take blood and nudity in a game, have an on and off switch. That
Yeah,
should be
Cyberpunk.
yeah,
That shit
that
threw me for a loop.
that should be a thing. There are some countries obviously where that
Yeah, all that
probably
shit's different. Yeah.
like some countries just straight up just say you can't play the game. Like
They'll cut
we're
your fucking
we're
head off in North
yeah, like
Korea.
we're not well, did you hear I have to go back and research it. I don't want to get too far into it because I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it at the time. Um, but one of the countries in Asia. I'm not sure which one. I have to go back. I don't know which one it was, but they were saying that they have the ability to tell what you're doing in your house to, like, if you're playing video games, they can limit the amount of time that that console will actually work in your own home
Oh,
to be able
gross.
to to limit the amount of time that people are playing video games. I don't remember where exactly it was. It was somewhere over there. I want to say like Japan or something like that because I don't remember where it was, but somewhere over there they somehow had the ability to say you get X amount of time playing a video game in your home, and after that amount of time, shuts off. Can't play it.
See, you know what
You
that's gonna
know
cause? That's
anymore.
gonna cause people
Outrage.
summoning demons and
Yeah.
doing witchcraft. What else you gonna do at 2 o'clock in the morning if they shut your stuff down?
Yeah.
Setting Indian style doing old chants. Here
but
comes demon souls.
But yeah, I think that where it's allowed, obviously, that you should be able to have a filter for both uh nudity. And I guess I feel like I said, language is not something that I find offensive or a
Me either.
problem. So, but I guess if you want to throw in profanity too, to put, nobody wants to play a video game where it's being beeped every, other, but
Right.
just say, you know, if you want to be the protective parent and shelter from all those kind of things, put on a profanity filter, put on a blood and gore filter, put on a nudity filter. If that's how you want to play the game, you know, you can play the game like that, or you can turn it all off, play it however you want to play it.
You hand your kid a controller to Grand Theft Auto 5, don't be surprised at what that kid's doing on that game.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of the
Like
shit Asher was
again,
doing yesterday on that game.
uh, I mean, it's just like I said, before. Like that is there's still a huge demographic of people that want their content like that. They don't want this whole political, like, this, woke, whatever you want to call it,
God, I hate that
the
term.
nonsense to be, a thing. Um, Speaking of woke, Tim Allen and what's to do from Home Improvement. I don't know the other actor's name. Uh,
No, I have no idea.
you know what I'm talking about though?
The other guy on the show with him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are supposed to be on Peacock, I believe, coming out with a new unwoke show, as they called it, to where they're just like flying off the handle, no political correctness, just saying what they want to say. And I'm like, hey,
Really?
I'm all for it. So I don't know when it's going to be a thing or anything like that. His show Last Man Standing is kind of like that, pushing the limits, of
Oh.
saying political things. So
Is it Al Borland or is that the neighbor?
that is the character's name.
Oh, so the real guy, Richard Karn.
Richard Karn. Yeah, so him and Tim Allen are supposed to be having an unwoke show on Peacock, I believe, is where it's supposed to be going.
We're talking about video game consoles collapsing. When do some of these streaming services just collapse? There's so many of them.
They're just gonna be more and more and more that are made, and then it's just survival of the fittest, whichever one has the most. Well, it's just like the Hulu bundle. Have you seen the new Hulu bundle? The new Hulu bundle is not Hulu, uh, Disney, and ESPN. It's for whatever reason they just ditched ESPN, even though Disney owns it, and it's Hulu, Disney, and HBO Max.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that bundle now for all of those costs double the amount of what it cost in 2019.
Jesus Christ. If you still have the old bundle, do you get to keep it?
Yeah. Oh, and they're not getting rid of it. It's just
Okay.
if you for like a new subscriber, what they push now is not throwing in ESPN. They push throwing in HBO Max, and now it's like $30, I think.
Dude, if
For
ESPN wasn't included, I wouldn't have it. Like, I don't use Disney Plus. I don't use Hulu. I have that bundle for ESPN. That is it.
So, I mean, but the reason why I thought about switching is because like I pay like $40 a month for HBO Max because I got like the crazy part is like you remember when they did the switch and we were like talking about it and we're like, oh, we got to get you got to get the one with the 4K
Mhm.
offline. But I don't even know what I signed up for, to be totally honest. But like we thought it was a good idea to do the top tier for some reason, but I don't know what I'm paying for, to be totally honest.
Switch that shit.
Yeah, I'm paying extra for something that I don't use. That's what I know.
That's what I do for Netflix. I pay extra to watch it on 2 TVs and in 4K UHD, and I don't need that. So I actually need to lower that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I gotta get on there and see what I'm actually paying for because I don't know, to be totally honest. Um, but yeah, I mean they'll die. I mean, eventually. I mean, look at Paramount Plus. I mean, Paramount Plus was a thing. Showtime was a thing. I don't know which one's suffering. I thought it was Paramount, but maybe it's Showtime because Showtime doesn't come out with anything good anymore. So they're now like together, and then they're so fucking shitty together that Walmart's like, I'll pick you up and I'll add you
Oh
into my
boy.
Walmart Plus subscription. And so then Walmart picks up the failing Showtime and Paramount, and I don't know. But then like if you sign up with Verizon and have their cell phone service, they give you the Hulu bundle. And then I think AT&T gives you Max by itself. And so I don't
It's too
I
much
don't
going on.
know. And then like Apple TV, like that's like I think they're like $10 a month or something now. They started out as 5. At 5, I feel like I could justify it, even though there's jack shit to watch. But at $10, I'm like, I'm paying $10 a month for literally nothing. Like, it's just there's nothing that's on here. There's a
Yeah.
couple good shows that you'll watch and you'll be done with, like Ted Lasso. You ever watch that show? Great show. Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston. Great show. Outside of that,
That's it.
couldn't tell you. Sign up for a month, binge the shit out of it, cancel it, wait 6 more months till you got some more backlog to be able to do, because I just it's not worth it. So um well, so that's all collecting update. There really isn't one as of right now. We've transitioned to the whole Super Nintendo journey, so that will be the upcoming collecting update will be what happens with that. I don't know. I might go out today, see what's out there. I don't know. It might.
Yeah, do it.
It's supposed to rain. I don't know if it's actually going to rain or not. But you went out the other day, and saw
Sure did.
you found all the infamous Burger King games
Yeah, I
for
did.
the 360. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a crazy world that once you I feel like if you get into it deep and start buying and selling everything, like it's there's a lot more profit to be had as long as you can find it.
Oh, friend of the show, Randy, made out like a
Yeah.
bandit that
Yeah.
day.
So as long as I feel like that's kind of the way to do it. Like if you find people that have acquired things for years and they're just like, I need money, or oh, I'm done with it, or I didn't know I had this, in the my grandma had this in the closet, or
Right.
whatever. If you find stuff like that and are able to, resell it, then it's a profitable way to do it. I know everybody's worried about the whole retro bubble and it bursting.
I don't see it happening.
I think things are just going to continue to go up because I feel like now we've surpassed them being video games and them being rare to they're now like they're not antiques yet, but they're like collectibles, so
Right.
they're passing the video game portion and becoming collectibles. And I feel like obviously at a certain point that will stop. I don't feel like 360 games and stuff like that are gonna be at that level, but like, the Nintendo, I feel like is super high up there. Super Nintendo, same way. I feel like the Genesis is relatively tame when it comes to pricing. But it will probably get up there too. And then, I mean, I don't pay much attention to the handhelds, but I know a lot of that crap's up
Me
there
either.
too. But yeah, I mean,
There,
they'll be
there was a Game Boy Advance game Randy found. He told me to play it. I don't know if it's on the Switch Game Boy Advance store, but it's Double Dragon. Apparently, it's the best version of Double Dragons ever, and that game was like $200. It's like, get
yeah.
it out of here.
Just think like how few copies of Double Dragon for Game Boy Advance have a case.
This one did not.
But what's what I'm saying? Like just think of because was Game Boy Advance was still cardboard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like we didn't get clamshells until the DS, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, just think about how many times people would bring in games to us, Game Boy Color, Advance, whatever, that are just like we literally had the glass case on the side that was just
It's full of loose
Like,
games. Yep.
nobody brought in a box their games ever. Did you ever trade one in with the case?
No.
I never did. I never traded one in with the case ever. So I mean, hell, I even
Yeah.
traded in. I mean, the amount of people that brought in DS games just in a Ziploc bag. I'm like,
Yep.
where's the protective case that this came in? Like, what'd you do with it? And
People
they're
don't
just like,
care.
I don't know, like or people just bring in like a stack of discs. Like, these came in a case. What'd you do with them?
Where's
It's
it at?
like, well, I just took the stack and turned it upside down because if you turn them upside down instead of on top of your system, they won't get scratched. It's like, yeah,
Refurb charge.
yeah. It's just like, yeah. Oh, I forgot about the refurb charges. I forgot we used to do that. Where like we'd look at a game, and be like, "That's fucked. That's you set your 360 on its side, didn't you?" And they're like, Why? How do you know? I'm like, that big ring that's, right around your disc. That's how we know.
Or the
You can't.
customer was being a dick and you sneak in a couple refurb charges to see if they notice. You ever do that?
No, I don't think I did that. So I did. We used to, we used to get in arguments with people though about, like you put your 360 on its side, right? And they're like, yeah, like, well, that's how yours is over there and there, and that, display. I'm like, yeah, and that one day will catch on fire, and it will one day blow
100%.
up. It's like, but you know what? That's not mine. That's not my problem, and I'm not going to trade that in. So, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just doing my job. I'm 18 years old. Leave me the hell alone. Like,
Right.
I just, so.
Well, hey, before we get out of here, do we want to announce the third member?
Oh yeah. So next episode, I think I put on Facebook that we were going to have a third member, but I don't think I put who it was. Did I?
No, we did not
Oh,
announce it. Neither
yeah.
one of us.
Yeah. So yes, next week on episode 22, we are going to have a permanent third member on the podcast, and it is Jake from a couple episodes back. I don't remember exactly which episode he was on, but the episode that we did with him did extremely well, and he had a bunch of people that he knows that started watching the podcast for that episode and for ones before and afterwards after that. And on top of that, it's just, it was kind of funny that it was somebody that I've known for a while and Travis knew for a while. And when we mentioned him coming on the podcast, he's like, yeah, my friend Jake, da 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 da. And I'm like, wait, this Jake? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't know you knew that Jake. And so we both knew who he was, and he's real into collecting and video games as well. Unfortunately, he likes the Xbox, but we might try to get him out of that.
We'll sway him. We'll sway him.
But yeah, so starting next week, he will be our permanent third member. And that way it'll give us, when we don't have another guest on the show, that will give us another, person to, have these, the agree or disagrees, or, would you rather, and just have another opinion on the show versus just us sitting here and debating things. So I don't know if he has an opinion on it. We haven't really got too deep into whether or not he gives a shit about basketball. So we will leave you all with this. Since we did the agree to disagree, we will disagree on this topic between Travis and myself. But we will leave the episode like this, and we will post it on Facebook. Has absolutely nothing to do with video games. But since we were talking about going back and forth and agreeing and disagreeing,
where this is going,
don't
you do it.
So we've had a long debate over the greatest basketball player to ever grace this planet. And the correct answer is Michael Jordan for various reasons. And it is not
LeBron
just because
James.
of the amount of championships that Michael Jordan has won. But Travis believes that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. I'm failing to understand how this is possible.
You're going to find out next week. And I feel like I'm going to get jumped by you and Jake.
There are lots of reasons as to why this is incorrect, but the only one that matters as a non-statistical reason is Travis said he is the king. And I said, you know what? There are lots of kings throughout history. There's only one GOAT. That is all. Links for all of our social medias will be in the description. And yeah, we'll post it on Facebook. Let everybody disagree with Travis and explain why Michael Jordan is better. And until next time, goodbye.
The greatest 23 is LeBron. Bye.